broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Kaufmann. Now, let the buzz begin!
We had new champions crowd, surprise returns, a little controversy.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we have our WrestleMania main event, and we're going to talk about all that on the Fastlane AfterBuzz. Welcome. You are watching live on YouTube at AfterBuzz TV's YouTube page. You can also stream it on iTunes, listen to it on SoundCloud, like, subscribe, give 5 stars, tell all your friends that this is the place to be for all your after show recaps. Welcome to everybody.
The few that don't know.
The few that don't know. I'm Christian Rosenberg at Real Rosenberg. Joining me tonight for our AfterBuzz Fastlane recap.
Look at his shirt.
Look at sporting. He dressed up for the occasion with the $1 Million Man T-shirt. At Steve Kaufmann. It's Mr. Steve Kaufmann.
Yes, I'm both those things. At Steve Kaufmann, Kaufmann.
There you go. And next to him, our walking encyclopedia of wrestling at G Hermoza. It's Mr. George Hermoza.
It's Hermoza with a Z. GHERMOZA. At Twitter, at Instagram, at G Hermoza. Hashtag ABTV. Fastlane if you want to discuss about it. I got a lot to say about it. In case I didn't say it here, but we can also talk about it later too.
Hashtag. He does the hashtag with his fingers.
He does the hashtag with his fingers. But guys, we got to talk before we get into Fastlane. And we got a lot to talk about with Fastlane. But we got to talk about this brand new show that's coming.
Please do.
I've heard about it.
All right.
The show looks awesome.
Let me ask you this, guys.
Okay.
What if your son was murdered?
Ooh, that's not good.
Your daughter arrested.
For what? Well, we'll get into that later.
Your child framed. I mean, where does the truth lie?
Oh, man.
One crime is going to affect so many lives in the television event of the year. Of course, I am talking about ABC's groundbreaking new TV series, American Crime. This premieres Thursday, March 5th at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central on ABC. After you've watched this, make sure you join film critic and radio personality Elvis Mitchell. He's the host of the American Crime podcast, as he takes an in-depth look at this ABC show. And every week, this podcast is going to feature candid conversation with show creator and executive producer John Ridley. You know, that Oscar-winning screenwriter from 12 Years a Slave?
He's only that one guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Along with show talent, they're going to discuss the latest episodes, character storylines, and other timely topics. So make sure you go to podcast1.com/American Crime to subscribe now so you don't miss any of that. And then, of course, while you're at Podcast One, make sure you check out other AfterBuzz shows too.
Always.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen some of the commercials for the show. It looks amazing.
Okay. Also, speaking of Oscars, Timothy Hutton, he is the youngest man to win Best Supporting Actor for Ordinary People. He was 20 years old. He is on this show.
Felicity Huffman is as well.
Yes.
It's a good cast. It's really groundbreaking stuff. I can't wait to see it.
Ditto.
Me too.
But why don't we get into Fastlane? Shall we?
I think
Let's
we
do
shall.
this.
All right.
It's funny because you cannot put a time frame on this pay-per-view, and just based on everything, you can tell it's it's building toward Mania.
I did get that feeling with this pay-per-view that there was a lot of...
Not that it was a throwaway, but you can tell they were definitely developing a lot of things, whether it's, we'll get into it, the Dust Brothers, Miz and Miz. Now we can talk about the pre-show a little bit, because I thought Paul Heyman was killer on that.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Yeah, let's bring up Paul Heyman.
It was Miz TV, brings up Paul Heyman, of course, talking about who do you want to see in the main event. Of course, Heyman says it doesn't matter. But the thing I loved about Paul Heyman, especially here, and I know people are going to chastise me for this, but I think he's the greatest manager of all time. No disrespect to Bobby the Brain Heenan.
I think he's worthy of being. Well, yeah, I'm top 3. Let's be honest, guys.
I saw that countdown.
But no, yes. But I think we're at the point now where so many people are still saying Bobby Heenan won, but I think it's safe to say Paul Heyman could be considered 1A.
And the fact that I think that he acknowledges things, like, for example, and I really hope this wasn't scripted because this would be a great line, when he was talking, because of course Miz had Mizdow sit in the corner, don't want to steal his spotlight. Heyman comes out and saying, I'm getting uncomfortable watching scenes. Mizdow, look at me, Mizdow had Mizdow turn. Essentially, he was facing the corner, so he didn't have to look at inside the ring. And then the crowd started chanting Mizdow. And of course, typical Heyman, brilliant genius Paul Heyman was like, well, because you guys interrupted me, let me restart it all over again. And he just kind of went back and forth, and I thought it was awesome. Typical Heyman, great, fantastic on the mic. I would say that's why I would put him in front of Heenan. I love Heenan, but I think Heyman's
also Heyman's got has a career ahead of him. And Heyman himself doesn't like the word manager.
He's an advocate.
He's an advocate, only because his job is different from what Bobby the Brain Heenan's job was.
I think Heenan's. I don't want this to become the greatest match of all time because we got a pay-per-view.
Wait, that's what this was. But I thought that's what we were here for.
I think what made Heenan a lot better too was his commentary. I think that kind of cemented his legacy, in addition to his managerial skills. But again, I just love Heyman. I think the way he talks, the way he delivers it, everything is so precise. There's no wasted breath, and ever when he talks, and I love that.
Like no wasted words, no wasted letters.
I've said it before on these shows, and I can say it again. An entire 3-hour Raw could be a Paul Heyman promo, and I will enjoy every second of it.
I'd watch that. Yeah. It would be one of my favorite Raws of the year. I also
creative team.
Heyman is that goose that lays the golden eggs every time. You're freaking right, Emmanuel Dominguez. Every single time.
Oh yeah. Yes.
But, yeah.
I thought you pulled that out of your like that.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he just saw that on chat roll. Guys, feel free to chat in on chat roll. If we like what you say, we might just say it just like that.
And Miz, that wasn't timeout. Now we get into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and pay-per-view starts off with a match that I feel like we've seen a lot over the last few months in a way. 6-man tag: Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback taking on Seth Rollins, Kane, and The Big Show. It was good.
Yeah,
but we've seen this a lot lately.
Holla holla, playa. That's how I thought about this match.
If there's one thing you'll learn about me is I rarely like to say anything negative about anything wrestling related. And this isn't going to be it, but I feel the pacing was off. It was, you had when Ziggler and Rollins were in the ring. Great, fantastic. We know that they can.
We know that. Yeah.
We know that. Ryback too. I think Ryback's kind of really starting to come into his stride.
Absolutely.
But, and I love them. But Kane and Big Show, I feel like they changed the pace of it. And WWE likes to compare themselves to movies all the time. It was watching a movie, but different paced movie, different scenario, different. Like there was one direction and then another direction. And I feel that kind of hurt the 6-man. It wasn't bad, but it's nothing memorable.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those matches, and I'm not gonna lie, I want to talk directly into this camera to the crowd at Memphis, because at Memphis tonight we had a very quiet crowd, a lot of big moments, and not much sound coming from that crowd at all.
No. It was the anti-Philadelphia.
Yes. It's a great way to put it. They had some big moments at this pay-per-view. They did not react nearly the way they should have. And I think this match was one of them. I mean, they were trying to get into it. I mean, they had the "Let's go Ziggler, feed me more" chants while Roman was taking the heat. Yeah. But then when they were trying to convince. When Ziggler and Ryback trying to convince the crowd to chant for Rowan, there were maybe 10 people "Let's go Rowan." Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would have been more excited if it was Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback against Rollins and J&J Security. I would have loved it a little bit more. Just because I know that
would have been more entertaining.
Yeah. Like I said, I just think it had to do with the pacing. Big Show, Kane. Again, I feel like they're best when there are. They couldn't keep up with them, I think.
Right.
And I think it kind of hurt the match a little bit.
And
good match regardless, but just
it was a good match. But then we had Ziggler take the pin. Ziggler is punching Kane in the turnbuckle. Big Show runs from the outside with a jumping knockout punch. And Kane gets the pinfall victory, and then the Authority just dismantle Ziggler, Ryback, and Rowan.
Until...
Oh, no.
Is that Orton's music?
Yes.
Is that how it went?
That's his.
Got it.
I hear voices and goes...
Yeah.
Randy Orton comes in.
Randy Orton comes in. Rollins runs for his freaking life.
Rollins was in the parking lot.
He was in the parking lot before Orton finished his RKOs.
Yeah. And then Orton RKOs everybody else. Hashtag RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's back.
Trends. Would have trended worldwide if it weren't for that stupid thing happening on Hollywood Boulevard.
What's happening on Hollywood Boulevard tonight? Was there anything else big happening tonight besides Fastlane?
No, there was a lot of traffic. I live in Hollywood, and there was a lot of traffic, and I don't know why.
Oh, that's weird.
Somebody should let me know.
Laker game, too. There was a Laker game playing against Boston.
There was a Laker game.
That must have been it.
I think
Were they playing at the Dolby Theater?
Yes.
'Cause that seemed to be where all the
stars were.
every now and again they should play
But
somewhere
I do
different.
think it's a relief seeing Orton back. I think it's been 4 months since he's been there. I think it's such a relief seeing him back as a face. I mean, we haven't seen him as a face in about, a year and a half now? So.
Yeah, it's I mean... he was long overdue for that heel turn. And then you were just sensing as like, okay, now it's time to switch back.
But I think what got him a little bit more over is all those vines of the RK out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
And they kind of, I don't want to say mainstream, but it kind of like, I think they're going to run with it. Because obviously I think they have the new shirt that says, RK out of nowhere.
I could see that.
I think they have it. I think if you go to WWEshop.com, not trying to promote them, but if you go to WWEshop.com,
we can promote them.
You should be trying to promote them.
We're promoting them on your show.
When you go to WWEshop.com, you'll be able to see a new RKO out of nowhere shirt, and it feels like that's where they're going to go.
Oh, there we go.
Orton coming in out of nowhere, and he had a couple cool RKOs onto the J&J security.
Yeah, Joey took one off the second rope, and now you know we're set.
Oh, he's going to buy the.
He's already bought it.
He's going to buy the
$24.99.
$24.99.
There, it's happening.
It's going to go well with your $1 million shirt.
$1 million tuxedo.
So we know we're pretty much set with Orton versus Rollins at WrestleMania. We know
I
that's.
thought it was going to be Rollins against John Stewart.
Well, that might happen on Raw tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Well, but what we still have then, you got Ryback, you got Ziggler, you got Rowan, you got Big Show, you got Kane. What's going to happen?
You have an RKO-a-thon. At WrestleMania, Randy Orton comes out, and then instead of the usual Battle Royal, it's just an RKO-a-thon. And it's like, hey, I'm Randy Orton, and then J&J Securities, RKO. I'm clearly kidding and just keeping going with the bit here.
No. I think you're serious. Keep going.
Okay.
I want more people in this Battle Royal.
And then Big Show shows up, RKO. Kane shows up, RKO.
Moving on.
The Iron Sheik shows
Moving
up,
on.
RKO.
No, you do not RKO the Iron Sheik.
Because I think you physically can't.
I don't know.
And he will make you humble.
Jabroni.
We go backstage with Goldust and Dusty. Dusty is
If you will.
Dusty is telling Goldust, go out there, but make things right. But I love you both. Don't hurt each other.
And I love we get the serious Dusty from the back. Because if you hear promo Dusty, it's like way up here, brother. Ooh, Christian Rosenberg.
Dream Dusty Road, baby, if you will.
Both of you cannot do that nearly as good as Rome.
We're doing our best, man. Can we? But we get a very relaxed. Okay, Goldust. I'm just saying. See, obviously not as good as Rome, but I'm working on it.
Yeah,
it'll get
over
there.
time.
WrestleMania. I'll have it by WrestleMania.
So then we get into Goldust versus Stardust, and I'll tell you what, I absolutely loved this match. And it's not because they weren't doing anything crazy or out of the ordinary. What I loved it was, it was your typical story of these guys know each other so well, counter after counter after counter after counter, and the crowd was just completely getting into it by chanting Cody at Stardust. And that's what drove this match, was Stardust building in anger as the match went on based on the crowd. This moment, the crowd did well. This is pretty much the only match where I was like, okay, these guys, they get what they're supposed to do here. Just like I was just doing I was just commentating an indie show last night where we had a blindfold match. And so you had the classic thing of the crowd trying to, direct like your classic Jake Roberts, Rick Martel moments, trying to direct the guys to each other.
No, it's to the left.
Yeah.
It's to your other left. Let's get. I was that kid.
You were that kid.
I was also the kid who would scream at the face to, no, turn around. He's got a weapon, turn around. And then he never the face would never listen to me.
But then, so as this match goes on, and like I said, the crowd getting under Stardust's skin, counter. Then we get some controversy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main things that the chat roll is talking about. So I posed a question to you two fine, distinguished gentlemen. Was it the referee who botched the 3 count, or was it Stardust failing to kick out?
I think it was the referee botching the kick out.
I also vote referee botching the kick out.
I feel it was Stardust.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Do you think the match was supposed to end that way, though?
No.
Ooh.
I don't. Just because of kind of I feel just kind of the surprise. I mean, it could have very well ended that way, and it could have played it off very well. Mm-hmm. But the fact that the referee didn't hit for 3, but he knew that his shoulders were down for 3.
Yeah.
And made the quick decision. Okay, that's it. Ring the bell. That was split decision. It could have gone either way. I think Stardust was supposed to kick out, and he didn't, and the ref was waiting for it.
I guess I would have to defer to your judgment on that. I guess I would have to defer to your judgment on this one, because I have not been a referee.
Maybe. Have you been a ref?
I was a ref for about 4 years.
Okay.
I've commentated, I've reffed, I've managed, I've wrestled one time. I'm 1-0.
He owns a company still?
I own a company.
You still own the company? Okay.
Damn right I still own that company. I'm kind of a big deal, George. I don't know if you knew that about me.
I knew. I'm
also very modest.
I just wanted to cut to you so you can say all that stuff.
Oh, got it.
Okay. I like hashtag Dustgate. We should make that happen.
Dustgate. I like that.
Dustgate. Let us know. Tweet at us.
So
hashtag Dustgate. Do you think it was the referee, or do you think it was Cody Rhodes?
So maybe Mania? Maybe Goldust versus Stardust?
I was hoping for that anyway.
Old Dust?
I want Goldust versus... We had Goldust versus Stardust tonight. I want Goldust versus Cody. With Dusty as the ref.
I think it's going to be Cody against Dustin, if anything. I think.
But no, he's got to end it as Goldust.
Yeah.
You can't do a match as Dustin. Not anymore.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, his first match was as Dustin. How about that?
No.
How about that? His first match in the WWF was as Dustin Rhodes.
Nobody remembers that. Except you. You're an encyclopedia.
Royal Rumble '91.
Was that really when he debuted?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
he was in the stand. He was in. Okay, it was Dusty Rhodes versus Macho Man on Saturday night's main event. Dustin was in the front row. DiBiase and Virgil, start beating up Dustin, and then Dusty saves. I saved my son. Please don't hit me, my son.
For those of you listening, Steve and I like to brag on how much we know about wrestling. This guy, George, he's got dates and arenas
and voices. Royal 91.
What match was it on the card?
I don't know, the third one? I don't know. I think it was the one right before the Rumble. I was cool with that build-up for when Virgil finally hit DiBiase with the belt. That was cool. Yeah,
love it.
Started at Dustin Rhodes, ended at Dustin Rhodes. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes at WrestleMania 31.
By the way, did you find it weird that
Eden Rhodes was the ring announcer?
Did you find it weird that Stardust was not wearing a top? It's almost like it's slowly transitioning back to a Cody Rhodes
he's like
outfit.
A hybrid now. He also wasn't wearing paint on the bottom half. Like the star comes here, and then it's just nothing here. He's a transition between Cody and Stardust. It's very interesting.
Yeah. But then it got really interesting backstage, because then all of a sudden Stardust came out, dismantled Goldust, Dusty yelling to stop, and Stardust blames Dusty for killing Cody.
Yes.
By bringing Goldust in to help Cody get his job back once upon a time. You brought stories back. Thank you.
Make us remember.
Freaking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And it was because he went through every type of character he's been.
And it was also, I'm not living in your shadow. You're living in mine.
Yeah.
Loved it.
That was a good line. That was my favorite line of that post-fight promo.
And then Neil Patrick Harris had a huge song and dance number.
What was that from?
Wait, that's what the other 2 pages of notes are about. People won awards for a thing? Is that not? I thought they were going.
The were a couple months ago.
No, but it was different people. I thought they were going a whole other way.
Oh, I don't know.
It must have been snowing or.
I mean, I don't know if you're talking about awards like the tag team titles, which are up next. Hey, segue.
Oh.
Usos defending against Cesaro and Kidd. First off, let's applaud Naomi's jean short outfit.
I'll give it up.
And then let's give a standing ovation to Natalia's all like leather sable-esque outfit.
Yeah,
Are we doing that? Are we?
I'm going to stand for it. I'm standing.
We're standing? All right, we're standing.
I'm standing for Natalia's outfit. That was the hottest she has ever looked. All right, that happened.
I love how there we go.
A late bloomer. George was a late bloomer, but it's all right.
Well, no, he was being smart. He didn't want the viewing audience to have no one to look at.
We have a wide shot.
Oh. Is that what that camera's for?
We also have fantastic engineers that know how to alter from camera to camera.
I have a question.
Yes,
so
sir.
I want to know who made Tyson Kidd's boots. Because I want to know what he or she reaction was when it says, all right, when I make my boots, I want to know, or I'm sorry, I want one of the boots to say fact, and I want the other boot to say cats. Because that's what its boot said.
Yeah,
one of them said fact, the other one said cats. And I want to hear that reaction of the person who made those boots saying, what?
I feel like you have to do an exclusive interview with whoever designed that.
We're gonna find out.
George is
We're gonna Google that person right now.
George is gonna do some research.
Damn, he loves his cats, dude.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
It's airbrushed on the back, so he might have boots and then a separate airbrusher. But he's got to explain that to some type of professional, and that professional has to.
Oh, and just real quick, because between Haywood Wong in the chat and Jessica Adams in the chat, both commenting that I like ass and booties. Yes. Is there something wrong with that? I demand someone challenge me in something wrong with that. There we go. All right. So we have a one-legged swing.
Oh, that was awesome.
That segued into a one-legged Boston Crab,
Yep.
which is pretty cool.
And then Cesaro's superplex, which I've named the Super Duperplex, because he just lifts the guy insanely high into that springboard elbow by Tyson.
Reminiscent of Power and Glory of back in the day.
A little bit, but it did not finish off the Usos.
Not with that, at least.
No. Lots of craziness that we would expect from the four of them.
Yeah, these guys.
Flying
especially
Usos,
the
splashes,
Usos,
super kicks.
Cesaro and Kidd individually can always deliver, but put them as a team, I think. I don't want to see them finish their career as a tag team, obviously, but together, I mean, right now, they're blooming. They're great. They're fantastic right now. The Brass Ring Club, as some people are calling them online.
They're called the Brass Ring Club. They're called the Masters of the Universe.
I like that one. The Masters of the Universe.
I just wish they would wear the same color tights. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when I see tag teams.
They should be the same.
That don't
You're
wear
right.
Color tights. At least the color. You don't have to put the same exact thing, but at least have the same color.
But yeah, this was especially like the last 5-6 minutes of this match, which was edge of your seat entertainment. Cesaro rolls, I think it was Jey Uso, into the ring while the referee was kind of pushing him out. Cesaro starts hopping in to try to distract Jimmy. Jimmy super kicks him, turns around into Tyson's swinging neck breaker.
I love that move.
And new tag team champions. I honestly was not expecting this.
No, this was.
I can say that I did. I have proof of that.
I had this going
you
the
have
other
proof.
way.
It was one of the matches you got correct in your predictions. But yeah, new champs, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd.
He needs a name for that swinging fisherman suplex that Tyson Kidd does, that he won this match with.
The neck breaker? It wasn't Fisherman.
Is it
fact check?
Is it this? The fact check would be a good one.
That would be good. Like, he kind of sets him up for a fisherman, but then he turns him into a neck breaker.
Because he does a snapmare neck. Wikipedia says he does a snapmare neck breaker and a swinging fisherman suplex. I'm pretty sure that's a swinging, because this is 2014 to present for the swinging fisherman suplex. That's the move he's using.
See, I would think it'd be more so a neck breaker, because he's not lifting the guy up. He's just swinging him like a neck breaker.
Because he hooked the leg.
Because he hooks the leg.
Becomes a fisherman's.
Nah.
Either
it's not a suplex.
Either or we could.
What is technically
no, but
a
it is. But it's
when you lift them up.
Well, no, it's not. It's a fisherman suplex in the sense that you hook the leg and you have the arm here. I'm just picturing everyone watching us all do this with our hands and arms
When you
and
say
shoulders.
I'll do this, and most of the people are listening to this on iTunes, they have no idea what you're actually doing.
They're picturing all of us just doing weird hand motions to explain the difference between a suplex and a neck breaker. Theater of the mind, people.
There you go.
A great match. This was a good match.
It was a great
I love this match.
Kind of curious where they're going to go from this. If they're going to have a rematch, I'll go into a thought about after the Cena Rusev, but I'm weird because we don't really see rematches for the February pay-per-view at WrestleMania. Because that's probably where they're going with Cena and Rusev.
Yeah, because normally
we'll get into that in a little bit.
Because it's I don't think it's Backlash anymore, but it would normally.
Next, I think after this is Extreme Rules after Mania.
But it was when it used to be called Backlash. That was almost the gimmick was that most of these are most of these are rematches for Mania.
What's the next match?
Well, the next thing is Triple H coming out in Attitude Era garb.
Yeah,
the jeans, the leather jacket,
knuckles taped,
knuckles all taped up, calling out Sting. Sting comes out, and Triple H talks about how Sting was WCW, and maybe, failure is what you do because you failed at WCW. You try to get rid of the authority. We're still here. You just keep failing at stuff. And Triple H talks about, we could do this the smart way. We can work things out. I can get you DVDs.
He has a
stuff
DVD.
on a network.
He's got a network.
Action figures.
I don't know.
But I love
Hall of Fame.
But when he said Hall of Fame and the way he said Hall of Fame, I love how this kind of mirrors real life. Mm-hmm. That if you exist in the WWE's tape library, but you're not on good terms with the WWE, these things don't happen.
Right.
They don't use your likeness anymore. They don't put you in stuff as much. They do decide who goes into the Hall of Fame. So I like this little nugget of truth in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Or we can do it the other way.
Or we could fight.
Or I can just beat you and you'll never be seen and forgotten. And Triple H starts dominating.
Oh, yeah.
He beat the crap out of him. Mm-hmm. Grabs a sledgehammer. Hops back into the ring. All of a sudden, Sting's got his bat.
Love the bat.
Bat versus sledgehammer.
Backs Triple H up into the corner. Triple H drops the sledgehammer, in which case then Sting takes the bat and points. Just like how George is pointing to the ceiling right now.
There's a WrestleMania sign behind you.
There's a WrestleMania sign behind me?
Yeah, don't you see it? It's right there.
Look at that.
Could we just have like one of the TVs have
Just say WrestleMania, right?
We could just
that one monitor.
Yeah.
Sting points the bat at the WrestleMania logo to signify.
That's all you got to do nowadays.
Oh, you just point at the
You
logo.
don't have to sign a contract. You don't have to challenge it. Just
I
point.
think there's a level of how old you have to be as a performer. I think if you're Sting or Taker, you don't have to say anything. You just have to step into the ring with somebody, point to them, point to the side, and that's all you need to do.
Maybe.
I'm just looking.
And that's what he did.
That's all Sting needed to do.
And then as he walked away, Triple H tried to attack him. Sting swings with a bat. And then a scorpion death drop.
I thought that was a slop drop.
No, it was actually a scorpion death drop.
Oh, Henry Godwin was a slop drop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Henry O. Godwin.
Henry O. Godwin and Sting are very similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the sharpshooter, is it?
No, that's the scorpion death lock.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know that Bret Hart, he got taught the sharpshooter by Conan?
Yep. That was on his DVD, wasn't it?
I don't know. It was in his book.
The Barbarian?
Yes.
I couldn't. I'm here for the plug.
Leave. But keep your awesome shirt here.
Had a good run, guys.
Steve had a great run.
I really, since April, had a really good run.
By the way, speaking of good runs, we'll mention here, due to over the tiebreaker, the Walking Dale Rutledge, once again, your predictions champion on Monday Night Raw. I, again, am not holding the predictions title, and I'm starting to get a little annoyed by that.
I
Been a long time.
I'm Emmanuel Dominguez's champion, though, until he recounted.
That's all you need.
Is he the one who claims who's the champion? One of our fans?
I don't know.
Right.
Does he have a belt? Let me know. I'm somebody's champion.
There you go. Divas title match: Paige versus Nikki. This was good.
Yeah.
Nothing jumped out at me. I think these two could have done a lot better. It wasn't bad.
They would have an awesome match in NXT.
Yes.
But Paige.
I mean, it's kind of like the same as like AJ's matches with Nikki. You have Nikki, AJ, and then Paige now, Nikki, Paige, Nikki. It's like, well, Nikki obviously won, but
by a handful of tights.
Like you said, I think it could have been better. We all know that Paige can wrestle. Like, that girl can just flat
Honestly,
wrestle.
I think Nikki's better than what she showed tonight,
no,
too,
absolutely.
though.
I know that Nikki, she's shown a lot of things. Both the Bellas have shown that they can really wrestle. I just don't know how the formatting of the match goes, where it could have been a lot better than what we were used to.
I really don't have many other notes on that.
Well, I think with Nikki and Paige in the ring always, and them in the ring, they were fine tonight, but it always, like, I can't help but think back to the past when it was Nikki and Brie broke away and had legitimate reason to break away, and then they just completely dropped it. And now Brie's the sidekick of Nikki again.
What are you talking about? They were always the best of friends because they're sisters. They never fought.
I know, right?
They never had any issues. They never had a feud. One of them never turned on the other one.
And then with Paige, and I think they've been doing a great job with Paige the past 2 months of bringing back the character that she was in NXT, that when they called her up, they completely ignored. That's
something that.
But them in the ring tonight, none of that actually affected them in the ring tonight, and they had a good match.
I just kept hearing, "Come on, Nikki!" Like every 2 seconds. Thanks, Brie.
To me, that just reminds me of the Spirit Squad. That's so weird.
Did anybody else hear the really loud fan?
There was one fan that was right next to a camera.
Like right next to a camera, right next to a microphone, that you could literally hear stuff he said.
A person or like a fan?
No, an actual.
Okay, because I was thinking of a fan.
No, an actual human being.
A member of the WWE universe. It had to be very close to the hard camera, and you could hear everything he said. And I think I wrote some of it down. Also, I think there was one sign a little early on I meant to write. Big Show turned face sign.
Well, he did a week and a half ago, and then he forgot about that.
And then I guess the sign should have said Big Show stay face.
Yeah.
Stay a face, Big Show. Or don't, whatever.
Or not.
Do what you want.
Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh, turnbuckle camera. We got to see the
We do have a turnbuckle
There's a
camera.
turnbuckle camera. We got to see that.
We did.
All right, we both did it the other day on SmackDown. You got to give me your best Barrett impression.
Well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
That one was really interesting. I felt like there was almost not really a list, but there was just a little more emphasis on afraid there. It made me afraid.
I do a good there.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
That's a little more. It's a little more to his
Gritty.
twang.
It's a little more gritty. Mine sucks.
No, we got to hear it.
Well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
All right.
Yeah.
Judges.
Yeah.
Let us know.
And we're all losers.
And we all lose. Barrett versus Ambrose, Intercontinental title. Barrett is playing the game. I'm going to run out of here and lose by countout and retain the title. Ambrose just
No, thank you.
Ambrose wants to get on that wall. WWE headquarters. That's the only reason he wants this title all of a sudden. He just wants to be on a wall. And eventually, Ambrose corners Barrett. He's wrapped around the ropes. Ambrose is stomping away. Ref is making the count. Ambrose not listening. Ref reaches 5. Ref rings a bell. Disqualification. So Barrett retains.
I like tonight we're seeing a lot more referees getting some carte blanche. Some carte blanche to really control the outcomes of the match.
Yeah.
A referee can stop a match.
I mean, he had 5 seconds to break the count.
You
But he didn't.
have till
He got
5.
disqualified.
Yeah, you have to follow the rules. You failed to follow the rules. You're disqualified.
Doesn't get a trip to the pay window.
Well,
the American dream.
Boy gets the loser's pay. There's a winner's pay and a loser's pay.
Okay. I didn't know that, actually. I just thought the winner gets money. The loser just lives to fight another day.
Well, but you gotta get paid to show up. His name was on the poster.
He was on a little vignette.
What kind of terrible promoters is he working for?
Don't even get me started.
There's a purse. Each match has a purse, and he just receives the loser's share of the purse.
Yes.
Okay, he didn't get the winning bonus.
Yeah, he wants the winner's
I'm sure he would
share
have
of
got
the
more money
purse.
had he been the champion.
Well, now he's gonna sell that belt.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he beats down on Wade Barrett.
Now, George and I, we were talking on SmackDown this past week on this situation, this match. It was just, there was a lose-lose situation in this.
Yeah.
You have Barrett lose, then Barrett looks incredibly weak because Ambrose had the upper hand all the time. You have Ambrose lose, he has not won on a pay-per-view in forever. So something was going to happen. We had the ladder. Ambrose loses. Even though it was by DQ with him just overreacting. But still in the book shows he lost. I mean, this is obviously going to continue into WrestleMania. But they got to do something with both of these guys to make them both seem legitimate.
I think a no DQ match heading into WrestleMania, it seems to be where they're headed for these two. That it's, I want your belt.
Maybe.
And you want retribution on me. Or I want to have the right to hold your belt, and you want your belt back. Because I don't think he left the belt. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Dean Ambrose is the Intercontinental Champion.
Well, then you don't abide by the rules.
I don't abide.
Easy? Just take something.
Just take it. Yeah. Just take it. Well, what does it say? Possession's 90% of the law, whatever the saying is.
Mm-hmm. Also, somebody wants to see Hobo versus the Bunny at WrestleMania.
I would pay to see that match.
I would.
Hobo versus the Bunny. Iron Man.
Can we book that? Can we? Booked. It's booked.
Do we have that power?
I think we have that power.
Awesome.
Sweet.
But it was a good match for what it was.
Yeah.
Ambrose is over. They should be doing better with him. I love Barrett. I think Barrett should be one of the top guys.
He really should.
I think, given the lack of Lesnar and the world title on television, these matches should be bigger on the card.
Just a side note.
And they did it with the Rusev match.
Yes.
Was this one? I don't know what they're doing.
But like this match with these two guys, meaning not with John Cena, that a Intercontinental or a U.S. title should be ending Raw every week because, and that will give more power.
Cool if they just kind of alternate the main event. Every week. 1 week could be US, the other week could be IC.
And it would give more power to those belts, and then it would give immense power to the world title when Brock Lesnar shows up again. But you know, I'm available.
I was watching
if you guys are looking for people.
What was I watching?
He's available, relationship-wise, writing-wise.
I think I was watching like the Great American Bash DVD, like the best of, and it was like Wyndham and I think Barry Rhodes. So Wyndham and Dustin Rhodes against Austin and Rick Rude, and it was when they were in the Dangerous Alliance, and Rick Rude was a U.S. champion and Austin was like the TV champion. I just thought it looked so cool. For some reason, I just thought there was so much legitimacy to how they were holding the belts.
Remember the two-man power trip of Austin and Triple H? I mean, that was like, oh crap.
Just kind of seeing like two individual champions just kind of work together, and it just kind of enhance it so much, knowing that here are these two champions uniting, to fight for a common cause, whether it's good or faces or heels, little things like that, and I'd love to see that one day again.
But then when this match ends, we're thinking we're getting ready for our next match, but suddenly,
bong,
lights go out. And there's a couple
no bong yet.
Well, not really. There's some druids and there's some purple smoke.
These are how my notes went. OMG druids. OMG bong. OMG casket. ZOMG Wyatt.
ZOMG?
I don't actually know what the Z means, but I've seen it written before. I assume.
You don't know what it means, but you've taken it from someone.
I've seen it. It's in popular culture now, but ZOMG is an acronym for something. I might Google it later.
I'll tell you what. When those druids came out and the gong hit, I was just like, wait a minute. Why the hell would he be coming out on Fastlane? Wait, why is he not coming out the next night? What is he coming right now? What? And then as soon as the cast came out, I'm just like, that's gonna be Wyatt.
I was still sold with the casket.
See, if anything, I was thinking it was gonna be one of two things: either Wyatt pop out of it, or Wyatt come out after and lift up the casket, and it's like a fake Undertaker inside it.
That'd be cool. Or the or whatchamacallit, the Titantron with the Undertaker. They X-ray the casket, and it's the Undertaker just laying there with the urn, because the urn is shooting purple smoke. What pay-per-view was that, George?
That's when he came back, wasn't it?
Yes.
When he came back from his hiatus.
I shouldn't put you on the spot all the time.
But he's gonna get it right. That's the problem.
I mean, a lot of these promos that Wyatt's been doing, I mean, obviously we all know it's Undertaker, but obviously it's some people are like, oh, well, who's he talking about? Who's he talking about? Undertaker's not going to come back. I guess today just pretty much confirms it was Undertaker.
Well, he can't. It's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be like, nah,
Yeah.
Bray's just going to wrestle Ryder at me.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking, because my roommate happened to be in the room for this, and he's a casual follower of it all, and he was like, so are they going to do this at Mania? And I was like, I don't see how they can't do this at Mania. I don't think you don't hire druids.
I mean, I liked a lot of his promos that were building up toward this, and I loved his promo today.
Oh, yeah.
I loved how he was breaking it down exactly what he wants out of it.
He is the new face of fear.
Yeah, exactly. I love that he was saying how he used to be afraid of the Undertaker. Now it's like, well, I need to face my fear, and just by beating you up. But let me just say this. I don't know if you probably remember. Everybody here remembers. 20 years ago, maybe he just wants to get revenge from his dad, because Royal Rumble 95, it was Undertaker versus Erwin R. Shyster.
Why?
And now here comes, the son of Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, Bray Wyatt.
They're not supposed to know that.
Bray R. Shyster.
Bray R. Shyster.
Wanting revenge for his dad from 20 years ago.
For the record, this makes a lot of sense, because if my dad worked for the IRS and were a tax man, I would understand all the tax loopholes, and one of the many tax loopholes is to start a fake religion or a cult. So I don't think Bray Wyatt pays any taxes on any of his income.
As long as Undertaker gets a warm-up match against Bo Dallas, then I'll be fine.
Oh my God, Kenny. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about this the other day on SmackDown. I feel like this match is a year too late.
Yeah.
I originally wanted Bray, if anyone was to end the streak, felt like Bray would have been the guy.
Or somebody young.
Right. Like well,
they said Ted DiBiase Jr., they were saying.
Oh, God.
They were saying that for years because Ted DiBiase Sr. brought The Undertaker in Survivor Series of a certain year in the mid-'90s.
See, and it's all connected.
Everything is all...
And IRS was a tag team. Money Incorporated. See, it all... Oh, my God. And we figured it out.
Hashtag it's all connected,
We
guys.
just solved the Matrix, guys.
Hashtag. It all makes sense now.
Yeah,
Ted DiBiase brings it. Okay.
I would be so much... I mean, I'm going to enjoy this match, obviously.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, and everything, but I'd be so much more into it if Undertaker was still undefeated.
Me too. But did you honestly think you wanted to see somebody fairly young, like on a Bray Wyatt level, beat The Undertaker? Because no, I don't think anyone can hold that kind of a burden.
And it might have not necessarily happened last year, but remember, in less than a year, Bray Wyatt ended up having one of the biggest Mania matches against John Cena. Mm-hmm. And he was there less than a year.
Oh, yeah.
So, I guess, fine. Well, let's say Undertaker and Lesnar did wrestle last year, which obviously did. But say Undertaker won. Now, heading to this year, if that was the case, be like, okay, Bray could be the one to break that streak.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel.
I think that's so much to live up to.
My brain can't comprehend a time before. Or my brain has trouble remembering the time before the streak or the time of the streak, when like heading into that Lesnar match, there was no chance. Like, oh, Undertaker's gonna win. He's the Undertaker. It's WrestleMania. Or did you predict it the other way?
No, I predicted Undertaker. How do you bet against the Undertaker at WrestleMania? Until
make a lot
this
of
year.
money.
Yeah.
Until this year. Now you could.
We should have seen it coming. When he had the shirt that said "Eat, breathe, break the streak," it's like they're not going to make that shirt for nothing. We should have saw the signs. Seriously,
man, we could have made so much money.
I know.
Well, let's keep going.
I'm looking forward more to some of the promos that Wyatt's going to do.
Oh yeah, and then for Undertaker's response, whenever that is. United States Championship on a line. Rusev defending against John Cena. Cena made Rusev look like a freaking beast.
I agree. Rusev looked good in this. I think this is the best that Rusev has looked since he started.
He looked more dominant in this match than against anyone else. And he's beating the crap out of Swagger.
Yeah. And speaking of John Cena, I was watching it with I was watching the pay-per-view with the closed captions on. And the closed captions said, when John Cena came out, mixed amount of cheers and boos. The closed caption says that.
The closed caption is indecisive on John Cena.
The closed caption doesn't even know what to think of John Cena. Which is funny because this crowd seems pretty pro Cena. or pro not cheering. I guess this crowd wasn't very lively.
I like this match with the exception of one thing.
What was the one thing?
I think Rusev should have beat Cena 100% clean. Same finish, just without that.
Without the low blow.
I wasn't against that.
See, here's the thing. I think Cena's at that level now where he is untouchable. You can't do anything to him, and he won't be able to look any less or stronger or anything like that. So he's at the point where anybody who beats him clean, I think is going to look like $1 million. Yes, Rusev won. He looked amazing. I just think it would have been so much more for Rusev had he would have beaten him 100% clean. Not 95, but 100%
But
clean.
now you got to remember how they're going to play this.
Yeah.
What is Cena's biggest saying? What does it say on his little towels?
You can't see me.
Nope, that's not what it says.
It says hustle, loyalty.
He says
That's also not what it says. It says never give up.
Oh yeah.
Technically, Cena lost this match via submission. Even he passed out, he gave up.
I would say referee stoppage. If we're being technical, he didn't submit.
But it was a submission. It goes. Michael Cole even said it. It goes down in the record books as a submission victory for Rusev.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say referee stoppage.
So
or knockout or some type
here's
of.
what I was getting at before. There's so many matches. I don't like these rematches at WrestleMania matches. Like I don't think we've ever really seen that. I know we've probably seen maybe a singles match at the February pay-per-view and like a triple threat match or a quad, four-way, but never like a one-on-one match.
Cena Rusev gonna happen again. Golden Stardust gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Heading into Mania.
Nikki and Paige might happen again.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They're not gonna
Maybe Ambrose Barrett.
Ambrose Barrett's
And
gonna
it's just
happen
one of those things
again.
where, with me, and Mania should be that event that dream matches or big time matches, not rematches. You know
I'm sure we're going to get plenty of those too, but I do like this fresh approach that we're going to have 2 or 3 rematches from really good programs we just had, because the day after WrestleMania, we can start completely fresh.
Oh, that day after WrestleMania doesn't count. If there's anything I learned about the day after WrestleMania, it doesn't count. It's the following week that starts over.
Fair enough, because usually the Raw after WrestleMania is the one where let's give everybody.
Season premiere.
Yeah, I mean, I like your opinion. I just respectfully disagree. I don't like these rematches at Mania. It should be like a fresh program, a build-up. Maybe the first time we've seen them fight in a while, or just first time ever. I mean, I'm not going to criticize it as much because I need to see where they're going. I'm not going to just say, oh, I'm not getting my way, so I'm going to be unhappy. It's let me see where they're going with it, and then after that, I'll see, because maybe it could be the best thing ever. Maybe next year I'll be like, dude, they should do all the rematches at WrestleMania, So we'll see how it goes.
Also, I was really hoping Kurt Angle didn't get a new contract at that other company, because I would have Kurt Angle come in at WrestleMania and defeat Rusev.
I would have him the day after Mania and defeat Rusev, defeat Rusev after Mania, become the U.S. champion, and then just the next 2 pay-per-views just have Angle pretty much put over Rusev.
Hey guys.
And then Angle partner with Swagger.
It's not fantasy booking time.
And then Angle
When
with
is that
Swagger,
part?
and then Swagger.
Is that a different show?
Swagger turned heel on Angle, and then boom, there you go, SummerSlam.
And then SmackDown should be a different brand from Raw, and SmackDown should have a ranking system.
And then the Boogeyman comes back at the Royal Rumble. Oh wait,
That already happened.
yeah.
What'd you think of the match?
was there.
Overall.
Rusev Cena, I thought was great.
Oh, this is so good. Also, if Rusev does an Alabama slam, is it a Bulgarian slam? A Bulgaria slam?
I was really surprised he delivered that to Cena while Nikki delivered it to Paige.
Yes, there were 2 Alabama slams tonight.
Yes, there were. Ryan Klum
also-
would go nuts. Shout out to Ryan Klum.
Well, also there was a crippler crossface tonight,
There was, which was called the STF.
and then he did an STF, and they were like, "It's an STF." It's like, guys, those are 2 different. You're about to head into a Daniel Bryan match where he knows hundreds of submission moves.
Let's talk about that match, shall we?
I guess. That's what we're here for.
Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Main event. The winner goes on to face the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, at WrestleMania. These guys threw everything at each other. Like, they really did.
Oh, man.
Let me ask, because everyone, the 3 of us included, are all kind of thinking, is Roman Reigns ready for that type of position? After this match, do you think he is? On how his performance was tonight?
No.
Well, because this match changed nothing about his performance in the ring. He was always great in the ring. it was everywhere else that was the problematic. Partly being, and I've been explaining this to a couple folks who, like my friends from the outside of the wrestling world, who would just read the headline of like, wait, Steve, you were at the Royal Rumble. Why did nobody like who won the Royal Rumble? That guy looks huge. And the best way I could explain it is who the Seth Rollins character is on television, that's who we think Roman Reigns is. Somebody who's forced down our throat, a character that they just want you to like them, and he's going to win. He's always going to win. And that's where the boos came from at the Rumble. And they've done a better job, but the thought is that it'll end in the ring. And the thought is that whatever Daniel Bryan has that people like, Roman Reigns is just going to take it from him in the ring. And there's a little more to it than that.
I thought it was a great match. I think Roman Reigns definitely held his own. It was a great match, probably the best match of the night. I just don't think he's ready.
See, I think he did silence some of the critics.
Yeah.
Because really the last real big match that Reigns has had was back at SummerSlam when he took on Orton. And then he got hurt. Or, well, not really hurt. He had the emergency surgery and was gone for a few months. So then all of a sudden when he came back, he really didn't have those like big type of match moments against your top guys. He had a bunch of matches against the Big Show, which kind of went both ways, and a bunch of tag matches, and a bunch of 6-man tags. But you didn't really get a lot of those big hype matches against the Rollins, against the Ambrose, against Wyatt, against. I mean, he faced Rusev like once or twice on SmackDown, those ended in DQs. There was just like none of those really matches to help elevate him to make you think that this guy's beating the guys he needs to beat to get there. Tonight, he did. Now, obviously, this also was a ton of credit to Daniel Bryan because he makes everyone look incredible in the ring. But I think some of the critics that were kind of lacking on to the quote unquote smart fans have been shut up.
Yes. And I think a good percent of the smart fans were shut up too. There's always going to be a certain extent of wrestling fans that are just never going to be happy. And that's how they're happy. They're going to be happy they're just going to be happy in the fact like, oh, I could do this so much better. And that's where they draw their satisfaction from the product. And don't book for those people.
And I'm sorry to cut you. Joseph Boza made a great point in the chat roll on the fact that this is Roman Reigns' third WrestleMania. His first 2 were 6-man tag matches. Now his first singles match is the main event.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to book him like the next face of the company, then you're completely going off tangent because you look at Austin and Cena, they were at least giving that mid-card title.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started at the Intercontinental United States and worked their way up.
Or like this year could be the year if they wanted to make him the next Austin. This year would be the year he has that Bret Hart match. So next year is the year he's the unmovable force. Yeah.
Or I would have maybe been the guy that beats Rusev, undefeated streak, U.S. title, have a nice little run in the mid card. And then next year, perfect. But
or if you want him to come out of nowhere, you have him throw Batista.
I actually like that idea of if Roman was the one to end the Rusev streak, that would have really helped elevate him. Then that next year, et cetera, et cetera. But
that's where they want him.
He's our main eventer. It'd be him versus Brock Lesnar. Are we looking forward to this? As of today, we're 5 weeks away, but as of today, are we looking forward to
Paul
this?
Heyman promos. I'm interested. I really, really hope Brock signs again because I think if he signs again, I think he should beat Roman Reigns.
What if he beats him and Rollins cashes in?
That would be great. Cool. I vote.
Wait, what if Roman wins or Brock wins?
Either one.
I vote double turn. I vote Roman.
I think that's the best case scenario.
Roman Reigns turns heel in this match.
I think
Brock Lesnar turns face by way of Heyman.
And I could be.
I really hope Heyman.
I would love for Heyman to start talking for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar to just be a standalone dominant force face like a Goldberg.
Hey, that could very well happen. And you know what? We got 5 more weeks to chat about it.
Yes.
And then we're going to be up in San Jose, in Santa Clara, in Levi Stadium, amidst the giant WWE universe.
One of us will have to be here, right?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
George doesn't know he's being told to stay here.
Or just be me.
Oh, okay.
I gotta start practicing.
Well, let's discuss the schedule right now in front of everyone.
Why not? But guys, that's gonna do it for Fastlane. We're on the fast lane,
Yes.
no pun intended, to WrestleMania, 5 weeks away, and we want to keep chatting about the pay-per-view. Raw tomorrow, you know, is going to be big. We already have, like we said, we know Lesnar versus Reigns at Mania, Sting versus Triple H. It's going to be Undertaker, Bray Wyatt.
Possibly Rollins versus and Randy Orton.
Rollins,
Yes.
Orton. Most likely Barrett and Ambrose again.
Where do you put Brian?
Where do you put Brian?
Ken Ziggler?
Do you do the Andre Invitational again?
I wouldn't.
I would.
I think you should. They made it called it annual, so you got to have that in there. It's just a matter of who's going to be in
Look at the guy who won last year, and look what they did to him.
He's one half of the tag team champions.
That is true.
I would also have somebody. I would also have somebody like a Jericho come back and say, "There's nothing left for me on the card. Why don't I have a tournament in NXT and the winner of that tournament faces me?"
That'd be cool.
Book it. Adrian Neville, Chris Jericho.
Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho.
Finn Balor, Chris Jericho. It's endless, guys.
People, Rose Buddies, if you like what Steve Kaufman's saying, you can talk to him on Twitter. Where can they reach you, Steve?
They can reach me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. I do the Modern Family podcast on Wednesday nights, the Suits podcast on Thursday nights, and the Gotham podcast on Monday nights. And I'll be tweeting about all those things.
Oh, wow.
He's busy here.
I am.
George.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at G Hermoza. That's GHERMOZA. We can still keep talking about Fastlane at hashtag ABTV Fastlane.
He does the hashtag with his fingers. It's adorable. Right. You can follow me on Twitter, everybody, at Real Rosenberg. I will be performing at the Improv Olympic iOS this Monday night at 11:30, and then of course you can catch me here Thursday night doing WWE SmackDown AfterBuzz. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Fastlane AfterBuzz. For Steve Kaufmann and George Hermoza, I'm Christian Rosenberg. We'll see you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.